Alright, this is Gabe Ets-Hokin with City Bike Magazine and MotorcycleDaily.com. I ride motorcycles so you don't have to, and I'm up here in the deepest reaches of Northern California in the Plumas National Forest, and I have just spent 2 days riding Kawasaki's brand new, not all new, Ninja ZX-6R, 636, you might call it. And I wanted to talk to you about the new features and what's new about the motorcycle. So, of course, the biggest news is that it is now 636cc. They did this through an increase in bore. So what that means is stronger mid-range, stronger bottom end, without any loss to top end power. They also did some other small changes. They dropped compression a little bit. Fuel injection goes to single injectors from dual injectors. They've changed the exhaust system. There's also numerous detailed technical changes that they made to this motorcycle, including, probably maybe most importantly of those changes, is a FCC slipper clutch that also has an assisted slipper clutch. But the basic frame and swing arm are the same. The suspension gets some revisions, and we'll talk about that. So the suspension is it's the same big piston fork as before, but there are some new features on the fork. Probably most importantly, and you can see right now, is that the preload adjuster is just on one fork leg, and the compression and rebound damping is just on the other fork leg. So it's much easier to make suspension changes. To make changes in your suspension, you just need the big screwdriver or other tool to change this. You know, you'll go twice as many turns as you would usually if you're changing the preload on both springs. So that's some changes. Other changes. So also we have a new electronics package, and that includes the Kawasaki traction control and also a dual mode power. So you can see you can switch from the power from full to low. I don't know if you can see it, from full to low. And then also you can change the traction control. It has 3 levels, and or 4 levels if you count off as 1 level. And you can actually change both those settings on the fly, just by making sure your throttle is closed, and then then holding the toggle switch down. Very easy to do. Just hold the toggle down. The clock does not display at the same time as the odometer or trip odometer or your mile per gallon readout. There's also an eco function that tells you when you're riding the motorcycle most efficiently. That was that little thing that looked like the farmer's insurance label for eco mode. And there's also a gear position indicator, which is a very useful thing. So let's talk about this motorcycle on the racetrack, because you know what? This is a sport bike, and it's designed to do one thing: win races. Win races on a racetrack, a closed circuit racetrack. So if you're thinking, wow, is a 600 a good motorcycle for me to start out with? Because I want a sport bike, but I don't want a 1-liter sport bike. Well, ask yourself this: are you going to be racing? And if you are going to be racing, what are your goals from that racing? Do you want to win races in the middleweight class, and are you already a talented rider? Because you have to be a very talented rider to win races in that class, even in an amateur road racing organization. So, is that you? Is that what you want to do with this motorcycle? Then buy one of these motorcycles, because you will have the potential to win races. If you just want to ride fast on the street and have a good time with your friends, you don't need this motorcycle. But can you do that on the street? With this motorcycle? Sure you can. I just rode 100 miles of twisty roads up here. Very smooth, carefully selected twisty roads by the Kawasaki people to make sure that we had a good time on this kind of bike. Would I want this on single lane, bumpy, very twisty roads? No, there's better choices. Would I want this to commute with? No, there's much better choices. Would I want to use this to go on a long distance trip? No, it wouldn't be my first choice. There's better choices. Well, let's talk about what this bike is good at. On the racetrack, it's very good. They had us on race tires yesterday. However, for the U.S. market, or I don't know, maybe all markets, Bridgestone developed this special S20 tire that they say gives you racetrack grip, also very good wet weather performance, and judging from the last couple hours of riding, it does give you a lot of grip and very nice performance. On the racetrack, we were on Bridgestone race tires, and they had grip like a slick, which a grip that was so good that the other journalists, even the top, even those at the highest ability, said that the traction control wouldn't really cycle except in very low traction situations because the grip of those race tires was so good. I found the traction control to work very well. There were some times when it came in handy on the street, and I could also feel it cycling at certain spots on the racetrack. Now on the racetrack, this motorcycle is very, very good. It gives you a lot of confidence. The engine is very flexible and very powerful, especially for a middleweight. It will let you go as fast as you want. This will give you lap times as low as you as a rider could possibly deliver at just about any racetrack, unless it has some very long straightaways. So on a technical racetrack, it's going to be hard to beat anybody on this bike. The steering is very precise. It also felt very easy. The suspension with the big piston forks is both bump compliant, but also very stable. It's very easy to adjust, and the adjustments actually give you tangible improvements in the suspension feedback and reaction. These brakes are also new. Nissin four-piston monoblock caliper. So this is a brake caliper that is cast from a single piece of metal. Very powerful, excellent feedback. There's an ABS version that we haven't tried, but that's an extra, I don't know, $1,000. This motorcycle, I don't have the price offhand, but it's a $1,200 or $1,500 boost from the 2012 model. So that's going to be a very high criticism. This is essentially a heavily revised previous year model of the ZX-6R, and the ZX-6R buyer is going to get hit with a very high increase in price. Other criticism people are going to have is possibly going to be this muffler, which is uninspiring in shape, to be kind about it. It also has this heat shield that looks like it came off of a KLR 650 circa 1988. So, sum it up. You've got, and then actually let's talk a little bit more street performance. So, street performance, it's a sport bike. So, is it fair for me to say that it's uncomfortable after an hour, and that the seat is hard, and that it hunches you way over? That's not fair, because it's a sport bike. It's not a cruiser. It's not a tourer. It's not a commuter. It's not a scooter. It's designed to win races, so keep that in mind. But to sum it up, if I was in the market for a middleweight sport bike that was at the top of its class and made you feel like a championship rider when you're pushing it on a racetrack, would be a motorcycle I would take a very strong look at. And if I was a guy who wanted to ride a sport bike on the street, and I love the way it looked and I love the way it sounded, I would also give it a very strong look. So well done, Kawasaki, for building another very good motorcycle. I had a great time riding it. Let's start it up so you guys can hear what it sounds like. I know that's important. Oh, Kawasaki also has a positive neutral finder, so if the bike is stopped, it won't go into second gear. All right, this has been Gabe Ets-Hokin with Motorcycle Daily and City Bike Magazine. Thanks for watching.